Alright, so let's hop right into it and start off with the 1919 Buffalo nickel. Now in 1919, we're going to have a no mint mark, a D mint mark, and an S mint mark. And we'll see that at the bottom of the coin on the reverse under the word 5 cents for anyone that's new to coin collecting. So the no mint mark, they produced over 60 million, the D mint mark just over 8 million, and the S mint mark they made over just 7 million. So those are the mintages, how many they actually produced for each mint mark in 1919. Now first let's start with an error coin here. This coin has been broad struck out of collar. We can see that there around the rim of the coin, and because of that, this coin sold for over $500. And of course the condition also affects the value as well. So it's in pretty decent condition, graded at a mint state 64. So you know, very, very nice error coin there. 500 bucks. Now here's an example of, you know, some different coin prices depending on the condition. So this coin here is a 1919. We got the D mint mark there on the reverse of the coin. This coin is only graded at a very fine 25 by PCGS. And this coin sold for over $100. So, you know, not really super expensive, but it's a $100 nickel, so not too bad. But if we look at the same exact nickel, the same exact Buffalo 5 cent coin, this Buffalo nickel here sold for over $12,000, and that's because it's got a mint state 66 grade. So we go from a $100 coin to a $12,000 coin because of that condition. Now in 1919, you also want to look for a double Die Obverse. So look for that on the front of the coin. You can see the outline of the face there is doubled. And then we see that there on the date 1919 itself. That little F there is not the mint mark, by the way. The mint mark is on the reverse like we looked at. And then you also want to look for that on the braids as well, that doubling. So be on the lookout for that double Die Obverse on the front of the Buffalo nickel from 1919. Now here's an example of that coin. Now this coin, keep in mind, it's in pretty good condition. It's graded at a genuine. It does have some environmental damage, you know, which affects the value. You know, if this coin was graded at a mint state grade or something like that, you know, it would probably sell for a lot more. But the coin still sold for over $950 because it's got that doubling on the front of the coin. Now for the 1919 no mint mark, here's an example of a coin that is graded at a fine 12, so pretty low on the coin grading scale, as the coin grading scale goes from 1 to 70. Now this does have 2 feathers. So we've talked about that in some of my other Buffalo nickel videos. This is missing a 3rd feather, and we can see that example here on the screen. Here's 3 feathers, here is 2 feathers. So this coin only sold for around $40. But if we go to a 1919 high grade, graded at a mint state 68, this coin sold for over $14,000. And this coin has some amazing toning to it as well, man. This is just pretty awesome. Now here's an example of a 1919 S mint mark graded at a very fine 20. This coin did still sell for over $100 in this condition, but again, the high graded version is going to sell for so much more. This coin sold for over $28,000 because it's graded at a mint state 65 by PCGS. So that is a flawless coin there. Man, boy, would I love to have something like this in my collection. $28,000. I believe I would have to sell it, folks. $28,000. Alright, let's check out these other Buffalo nickels that are worth money. Now, in 1913, well, there are some different types. You know, there's different types, type 1, type 2. So here's an example of a type 1 versus a type 2. You can see the strong line there of the ground above the word 5 cents on type 2. And then, of course, you don't really see that there for type 1. It's kind of, you know, more faded and rounded off, so doesn't really have that strong line there for type 1. Now in 1913, you know, there is a lot of different mintages. So you see the mintages here on the screen. Type 1 no mint mark, they produced over 30 million. Type 1 D mint mark, they produced just over 5 million. Type 1 S mint mark, they only produced a little over 2 million. Now type 2 no mint mark, they produced 29 million. Type 2 D mint mark, they produced over 4 million, and Type 2 S mint mark, they only produced a little over 1.2 million. So keep that in mind because that will definitely affect the coin's value as well. And let's look at what you should be looking for. So first up, 1913, you want to look for a double Die Obverse on the Type 2. So that is doubling there taking place on the date of the coin. And we also have 2 feathers, so we're missing the 3rd feather. I've done a video on that in the past on Buffalo Nickels, so definitely check that out where I go more into depth on that. And then we also have a double die reverse on the 1913, so look for that on the lettering on the back, on the bottom of the coin where it says 5 cents. So look for that double die reverse as well. Now, for the 1913 Buffalo Nickel. Now this coin here only has 3.5 legs. So here's a picture of a, 4-legged Buffalo Nickel. You can see the 4 legs clearly. Now here on this one, you only see 3.5. That other half is right there where we're zooming in on that other leg, that other front leg. So that's going to give a value, and of course this coin is graded at a mint state 66, so that means it's in very good condition, which will also give it a lot of value. Now this nickel here sold for over $21,000. 21,000. Now for the 1913, this coin is only graded at a very fine 30. It's a Type 2, and it only sold for around $90. So, a big difference in prices there from $21,000. Now for the 1913D, this is Type 2 also. It's only graded at about good 3. The coin only sold for around 30 bucks. So not really worth getting graded in my opinion. But the Type 2D that has the high grade sold for over $25,000. That's graded at a mint state 68 by NGC. So very, very high grade for that coin. Amazing toning on it there as well. Now for the 1913S, this is the Type 1. It is only graded at a fine 15, and it sold for around $45. So again, nothing too valuable there because of the condition of the coin. But if we look at the 1913S Type 2, that is the high grade, this coin sold for over $47,000. So again, the grade's going to have a tremendous impact on the price of these coins, and of course the different type, because different types, they produce different amounts of those. The 1913S Type 2 that has been acid treated, actually, if you're not familiar with what that is, a lot of times Buffalo Nickels, you'll see that the date is worn off and you can't read it. Well, you can actually get a thing called Nicodate and put it on there to reveal the date of the coin. You only really want to do that in certain situations. Actually, Quinn's Coins has a video on that, so be sure to check that out. Just type in Nicodate, N-I-C-A, and then date for Buffalo Nickels, and you should find his video on that. So 1913S Variety 2, Type 2, this coin sold for around 50 bucks because it's been acid treated with that Nicodate, and it's not, in the best condition. Now here's the 1913S Type 2. It doesn't have that Nicodate, but it's not in the best condition either. It's only graded at about good 3, but it sold for over $160. And that is because they only made, like I said, over 1.2 million of those coins. Now for the 1913 no mint mark, this is a mint error here. It's actually been struck on a 10-cent planchet. It only weighs 2.5 grams. It is the Type 2 design, by the way, but you can see that, the design is being cut off because it was struck on the wrong planchet, on a dime essentially. And this coin here sold for over $46,000. Now also the 1913 no mint mark, this is the proof coin, graded at a proof 68. It is the Type 2, and this 1913 sold for over $63,000. And boy, does that have some amazing toning to it. Alright guys, don't forget to subscribe in the middle. Check out the videos to the left of me, and until tomorrow, I will see you on the comment section below. This is Couch Collectibles, and this is where I disappear.